Okay, so we are here at the Nissan Heritage Collection here in Tokyo. First stop had to be, for me, R34 GT-R. We're going to have a quick look around, see what cars they have here. They have got cars all the way from the early 1900s all the way up to the most modern Zs. So we're going to see what they have a little deep dive into a few of them, and yeah, come follow us along for it. Okay, so we're starting here in 1933 with the Datsun 12, and then we follow along. We have then got the 14, we've got the 15, we've got the 16, and then we've got the 17. Two versions of this one here. You've got the standard 17, and then you have got the sedan as well. So these ones from 1938, so this is how much cars have changed in only 5 years. And if you think how cars are changing now, this is quite a rapid progression. We are fast forwarding about 20 years, so we're now looking about the late 1950s, so about 1959, where we have got the Datsun 1000. We had seen it earlier when we were looking at the rally cars. These ones are the more standard ones, so as you can see, the shape has now changed a lot since the 1930s. This is looking at post-World War II, and the practicality of how many people are having cars has obviously increased. So right here we have got what is called the Datsun Baby. So this is originally supposed to be able to teach children all about cars and particularly about road safety. There were only about 100 of these made. They went up to a maximum of 30 kilometers per hour. So for miles per hour, we're looking at maybe sort of like 22 miles per hour. So very, very slow, but they're all handmade. This is actually the 100th one that was restored in 2014. So this is the last original one that is then left. There's a few Datsuns that I am very, very fond of, one of which is sitting right behind me. This is the Datsun Bluebird. Very, very difficult to get hold of here in the UK, but in Japan they are a lot more common. So this one's a late 1960s car. Once again, you can see the more boxy style starting to come in from the 1960s. Now, I don't think we can come to the Nissan Heritage Museum without having a look at the 240Z. So these two models, they may look very, very similar, but there is big differences between them. So this was the standard S30 chassis. So it came with a straight 6 L24 engine, so 2.4 litre. You can see the shape of it. Quite often you'd have fender mirrors there as well. And this one in particular comes in a really lovely dark green. This one here, although it looks the same, is actually the luxury model. So this is a Z432. Now I got this name purely because of what is inside the engine. So it's got an S20 engine rather than the L28. So it means it had 4 valves, it had 3 carbs, and it had 2 camshafts instead. On top of that, it came with a LSD, as well as magnesium wheels as standard. So this one, when it first came to market, actually came in at double the price of our standard one. So when talking about this engine, the S20, it is actually the engine that comes out of the Hakosuka Skyline. So that means it is a lot more powerful compared to what the standard model here with the L24 is. After this model here came the 260Z, the 280, which were later gens, so this came later on in the 70s. The engine size got bigger as you went through. There's slightly different shapes to the chassis and a few more variants such as the 260 2+2 as well. But this one here was the most original Fair Lady Z. Okay, so right here behind me we have got the Hakosuka Skyline. So this one here is the 2-door hardtop, which actually is the 2nd gen. The first one that came before that was the 4-door sedan, which then became a monster in the Grand Touring races. They then modified it in 1970 to get the 2-door, a little bit more luxurious, and now is a lot more sought after. These in the UK go for about £100,000. So The Hakosuka Skyline is something that is extremely rare. You don't see very many of them in the UK. Quite often if you do, you see the 4 doors. This one, 2-door, is even more special than the 4 doors because there's a lot less of them that were made. Okay, so we already had a quick look at the Datsun 240Z. This is another variant of it. So this one came slightly later. This is the 240ZG. So the main difference really is the ZG nose. You can buy the G nose conversion if you really want to. The whole purpose for this is to increase aerodynamics and allow more streamline for when you're driving. This was the standard version of it. As you can see, it even got turned into a police car as well. Okay, so over here we have got R34, what is some people's most favourite GT-R. So you've got 3 different colour versions of it here. You've got the Bayside Blue, which is a personal favourite of mine. Other than that, the Midnight Purple one. Next to it you have got the R33. It's kind of the ugly child version of the GT-R series, but they are becoming a lot more popular. We saw at Nico Circuit, we had Hardcore's R33 there with the Pandem rocket kit, and it looked, let's take a little look more. So within the R32 we have 2 main types. You've got the GT-R, which is what we see over here on my left, and then on the right is the GT-ST. This one is not as favoured and it has a slightly different engine to the GT-R, but the same chassis, but the main other difference is the front bumper, as you can see here. Okay, so we've talked about the GT-Rs, we've talked about the Datsuns and the Fairlady Zs. Now we have to also talk about the Silvias, because that is the other thing that Nissan is absolutely famous for. Probably the least common one is the S12 that we have here with the pop-up headlights. Moving on to the S13, which is becoming a lot more popular now. Then moving on from that as well, you go on to the 180 SX, which is the very first car that I imported for my business. So it has the S13 chassis. The main difference really is just having the pop-up headlights instead. It then progressed even further. We had the S14, which are becoming a lot more popular in the UK, particularly as the S13s are getting snapped up. And then the very last one in the Silvia chassis line is the S15. So within the Japanese market, these are very, very popular for drifting as well as for show cars. You have so many different types of body kits. So I've also imported an S15 Spec R for another customer. They're currently having work done on it at the moment, getting a nice wide body kit on it. I will then be doing a feature of that in the future, so make sure to keep an eye out. Okay, so moving on to the very last car that I want to feature here, even though there is thousands more we can look at, is something very, very different. This is the Nissan S-Cargo. So this was from late 80s. As you can see, it is like no other car that you will probably see on the road or have seen on the road. And I'm sure you can probably tell, but I will tell you anyway, it is named because it looks like a snail. Okay, this part of the collection is showcasing all of the rally cars. So these are, or some of these are actual rally cars that have been in the races. As you can see with this 240Z, it takes its toll on the chassis itself through the rallies, and these are going all the way back to the 1960s where the first one was, which was the Datsun 1000 over there. But yeah, we'll have a quick look at some of the others. So we've got the 240Z here, we've got another 240, and these have obviously done races all across the world, and you can see the modifications that they will then have compared to what the standard chassis would look like. So particularly with the 240Z, you've got the eyelet covers there, you've got the extra bumper here at the front, and then when you compare it to this one here, you can see the vast difference. At first look, I didn't even realise this was a 240, I'll admit that to myself. You can see the additional suspension, the ball bars, it just completely changes the look of the vehicle completely. if you take a look here, this is the KPG Skyline. This is often the one that is forgotten about a lot. It came after the Hakosuka Skyline. As you can see, it is this gorgeous green with the gold accents on it. It's got the wide body fenders attached to it as well. Such a perfect condition of a vehicle. Okay, so over here we have got the R31, so this is the gen that came before the R32, the Godzilla car. So this is obviously not standard, this is race spec. As you can see, you've got this huge splitter at the front, massive wide arches and in the front and the rear. We'll have a proper look at it, but if you ever get to see a chance to see them, they are quite difficult to get hold of, but the R31s are actually beautiful cars, and actually I think they are my second favourite after the R32. So this car absolutely dominated the scene as soon as it came in. It won 29 championships in a row for 4 consecutive years. You can see the inside, you've got the Recaro seats, absolutely stripped out, cage, full cage and everything. So then, because it came from Japan, it got the nickname Godzilla. Okay, if you recognise this car behind me, it's probably because you spent your childhood playing Gran Turismo. This was one of the Group C cars that you used to win most of your races. It is a Le Mans classic car. So with any of the Le Mans endurance racing cars, it is going to look significantly different to how our standard everyday cars look. You've got this sleek aerodynamic design. It's not obviously at the peak of aerodynamic design, as we've come a long way since then, but you've got a very, very small cockpit. You've got the wing mirrors that are very high up. The entry points obviously a lot more difficult than we do in a standard car now, and as you can see at the very back, you've got a huge spoiler there as well. So keeping with the Le Mans cars, we have now found the R390 GT-1. So this was from 1998. It came third overall, so what a beast it actually was. See, the design has changed slightly from the previous gen that we were looking at. It was a little bit more sleek, a little bit more aerodynamic, slightly bigger cockpit there as well. Now, as walking around here, it is a little bit like finding all the cars from Gran Turismo. We've had the one already, we've got this one here, and of course, we've got the Pennzoil R34. So you can see the livery on it, covered in Pennzoil. It's completely stripped interior. You can see some carbon fibre bits in there as well. You have got the Nismo harnesses along with the Recaro bucket seats in there, which we'll have another look at in a minute. This is what you come into with the entrance when you come into the Nissan Heritage site. So this is the Zama Operations Centre. So this has been around for a number of years. You can see, just to start off, before you even get into the big hall, you've got a few little cars to be looking at. You've got the Cherry and you've got the Sunny there as well. A little bit of the history there on the walls. If you want a little photo with a little car. And then the 400Z and then the 240Z there as well. As you can see here, the site itself is absolutely massive. This is just a model of it. So this is actually built in 1964, and you can see all the factories of what everything else is here. Thanks for watching this video, and I hope you have very much enjoyed having a little peek around the Nissan Heritage site. If you ever are in Japan, I highly recommend that you come check it out. It's a free exhibition, but make sure you book up in advance. Please like and subscribe to my channel for future videos I have all around my trip around Japan, as well as importing cars and other parts distribution.